In this video, I'm going to tell you about the number of tests that could be used for the analysis of saliva. For the saliva, as in the previous video, I have already told you that the main thing that you are going to detect is that you go for the detection is salivary amylase. So, majority of the tests that are going to give the presumptive or confirmatory test are based upon the presence of or absence of salivary amylase. So first of all, you will go for the visual examination. So visual examination is based upon the uh, physical nature, that is how does it look like. So once you have any suspicious area, and if you want to locate that sample, whether the given area contains any sample or not, you have to locate that sample through the aid of different means. So the first mean that through which you would be able to map the sample is by the by the source of light. So the source of light that you can use is, it should be having a wavelength of 470 nanometer. So this, at this particular light, the saliva stain used to fluoresce. So you will get the fluorescence, although that fluorescence is not that much intense, but still you would be able to locate the samples like this. So this kind of fluorescence you would be able to observe. The next test is based upon the starch iodine test. So based upon the principle of starch iodine test, as you have already studied in your 11th or 12th class, that starch iodine test is having a principle, having a funda, that whenever the starch is going to link with the iodine, it used to emerge a blue color. So what happened, as I already told you why this blue color would be there. First of all, initially in the previous classes, in the previous videos, I have told you that starch is composed of two compounds. The one is the amylose, the other is the amylopectin. So amylose is nothing, it's a linear chain of glucose. When this linear chain of glucose comes with the iodine used to get fixed into this chain, and thus it produces a blue color. Whereas in amylopectin, it used to produce the reddish purple color. But as amylose has more affinity towards the starch, so the color would be produced would be blue instead of reddish purple whenever the starch comes in contact with the iodine. So what happened, the thing is, first of all you have to do this reaction, you have to form a starch iodine complex. Once this complex has been formed, the next thing is you are going to put your sample. The sample's main ingredient is salivary amylase. What the salivary amylase will do is, it is going to hydrolyze, it is going to catalyze the reaction of hydrolysis of the starch. Okay, or you can say the hydrolysis of sugar. So what happens, the amylose would be detached, or the starch would be detached from the iodine. So iodine, the production of color will fades out. So once you are going to add this complex with the suspected sample, so if this coloration of the blue coloration will fade out, it means your sample contains the amylase enzyme. Whereas in the other case, it shows the absence of the amylase enzyme. Okay, so if the blue color persists upon adding the suspected sample to the starch iodine complex, it means that there was not amylase enzyme. But if this stain fades out, it means there was a presence of it. Okay, now the same thing, first thing that you can do this experiment in a test tube. The other way of doing that thing, the same thing you can go the radial diffusion. What the radial diffusion is, actually it's nothing, it's the same thing, but you are doing over a gel. So what you have to do is, in this case, so you have to prepare gel, and over the gel, the gel is made up of the starch, and then on the over gel you have to put the iodine, so the full gel will come as bluish in color. So once the gel will become bluish in color, upon that you have to put the samples by punching the holes. So as you are going to put the sample, they are going to diffuse radially. So that radial diffusion, based upon the radial diffusion, based upon the diameter covered by the radial diffusion, you will get to know the concentration of the star concentration of the amylase enzyme. So thus it can be used as a qualitative test or as a quantitative test. If you go with the radial diffusion, it is going to tell the concentration of the amylase enzyme. If you go with the test tube test, then you will get to know the qualitative test with the presence or absence of this thing. The next thing is, you can go for the other test. Here is the fiber reagent test. Again, the principle is quite similar. Here what you have taken a dye with the starch. So this dye is linked, which it becomes insoluble. Okay, so complex is insoluble, but the moment you are going to add your sample to this thing, so starch would be cleaved up upon adding the sample. What sample you are going to take? The saliva contains amylase enzyme, so the amylase enzyme is going to off this starch, thus the dye will there only this is showing there. So you have again the process will be same. You have to take the starch dye complex, which is complex, so no color will be there as soon as you put sample. So if the amylase enzyme would be there, so the amylase enzyme will cleave off starch, it is going to hydrolyze starch into smaller disaccharides molecule. Only the left would be soluble thus produced. But other case, if your sample doesn't contain amylase enzyme, this starch will will remain attached to the dye, and thus no color would be produced. So here the coloration, if the coloration would be there, it means that the sample, your suspected sample, is saliva, or you can say it contains salivary amylase. But if the coloration, no coloration will take place upon adding the sample to this complex, then it says that what that your sample doesn't contain the salivary amylase. It means indirectly it is indicated that the given sample is not saliva. So to know the intensity or to go for the concentration, what you can do is you can take this solution, the colored solution, once you have added the sample to it, so as the dye would be become soluble, so you can take that solution into the spectrophotometer at 620 nanometer of wavelength. So at this particular wavelength you would be able to observe the color, and the color would be bluish in shade. So what happened, so based upon the intensity, the absorbance will change. So you would be able to know the concentration of your dye, because more concentration of your sample, because more the concentrated your sample is, the more amount of the starch would be cleaved off, and thus the more dye will produce more color. So color is directly proportional to the concentration of the salivary amylase which is present in the sample. So the reagent which is generally used is Fardibas reagent or Procene red amylopectin. Okay, and the next thing is the other test which you can go for is called as Press test. This Press test is also based upon the similar principle as of the Fardibas reagent, but here what you have to do is you have to take the Fardibas reagent and you have to spray it over a filter paper. So once you have sprayed it over the filter paper, then you have to let it dry, and then once you are going to visit in a scene of crime, and if you want to locate the sample, that where does the saliva would be there in a given suspected area, so what you are going to do is you are going to put the filter paper over the suspected area, and then you are going to spray distilled water. So what happen upon spraying the distilled water, the area of the filter paper will come in contact with the suspected area, and thus if it contains anywhere in the suspected area, if it contains a saliva, so at the same region on the filter paper it will show a coloration. So that coloration is due to the breaking cleaving of the starch from the Fardibas reagent, so from the dye which is present in the Fardibas reagent. So what happened, so the dye will emerge color and it will show the blue spot. So the respective area just below the filter paper will show the presence of saliva. So the next thing you can go for the confirmatory test. Again, this confirmatory test is based upon the principle of RSID, the same principle which you have studied earlier in the menstrual blood. So the principle is same, but only the difference in this thing is the kind of antigen which is used. So here you can see that in the RSID, here the antigen, instead in the previous which you have used the antigen as FDP, here you are using the antigen as HSA. Okay, and the likewise the antibody would be again the monoclonal antibody against this particular antigen is used. So thus, as the principle is saying, so there is no need to repeat this again. The rest of the principle will remain same, only the antigen and antibodies has been changed. So I hope this video clears your concept with the test of the saliva and its how it is going to perform all the presumptive and confirmative tests.